Well, welcome back to another episode of For the Love of Dogs. I'm Arthur E. Benjamin and my partner in crime, Farah White, and this show is about Tzu Zoo Rescue, which is not as close to my heart as it is to Bandit's heart.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Bandit's heart. He was actually directly involved in Tzu Zoo Rescue.
He was a Tzu Zoo Rescue.
He was a Tzu Zoo Rescue. Tzu Zoo Rescue is a Shih Tzu and Lhasa Apso rescue of Dallas-Fort Worth, and they are saving lives and mending broken doggy hearts all across the Metroplex. Founder Lynda Leazure is here with us today. Thank you for being here, Lynda, and her friend Dexter, who's in her lap, Cutie Pie Dexter in his blue bandana. And you're going to tell us a little bit more, maybe starting with the history.
The history is we started in 2008, and we have actually rescued 840 dogs since 2008, and it's a very small group, so we're pretty proud. We really wanted to just be a small group that because everybody in our group is a working person. They all have careers of their own, so they do this in their extra time. And so anyway, but it just kind of snowballed and off we went. We rescue Shih Tzus and Lhasas, and funny enough, anything that anybody wants to try to relate. We have a lot of dogs that haven't even seen a Shih Tzu, but we'll take them if they're fluffy and little. So we really like the little hypoallergenic breed.
And how many volunteers do you have?
We have about 30.
Wow.
About 30 people are doing all of that, and currently have 80 dogs. So those 30 volunteers are helping take care of 80 dogs because we do it all in-home. We don't have a facility.
Okay, so that is actually, that's quite a lot. So people are taking these dogs into their homes and they're feeding them and taking care of them. And then
grooming, as you can tell. There's a lot of grooming to be done.
And I heard about Bandit, who was then Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim.
And he had a name change. I heard about him, and he didn't have use of his rear legs at all. And there was a wonderful woman I've mentioned before, and her husband, Janet and Dick, and they are out in Plano, and they raised Bandit to about the size of his head now. He wasn't supposed to be this large. And American Dog Rescue took him on because we thought he needed an operation for his rear. And he went to Texas A&M, and lo and behold, with massage therapy and balancing therapy, he came back. And so I had him, and I was going to foster him, and then all of a sudden he took possession of me, and now I'm a possession of Bandit.
Right.
But
yes, there was a all citywide call out for somebody to take this little Shih Tzu puppy that couldn't walk because the breeder had threatened to just do away with him since he couldn't, and we wouldn't have that, so Shih Tzu took him on. And we were very lucky that the word somehow got out to Arthur, and it gave us some confidence to move forward with his care.
It's the Bandit bus that was just on.
Oh, did you see the Bandit bus?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Bandit Mobile?
The Bandit Mobile, that's it. Bandit Mobile. So tell us about Dexter.
Dexter is from a shelter in Louisiana. It actually was a nationwide plea that went out all over begging some rescue to take him because he has heartworms. And that's not that uncommon for rescue dogs, but for him it's a little bit scary because he also has a congenital heart defect. So he has a 4 or 6 heart murmur, so we can't do that. He was also anemic, a bladder infection. He's just got everything all wrong with him, and I don't know if you can tell, but he's kind of got crooked little legs that just warm your heart when he runs. And but anyway, we were lucky enough to get in contact with him and got him to the Metroplex. And actually, Arthur is his little angel because Arthur donated a large amount to help us get some testing done so we knew exactly what we had to deal with. That usually rescues can't do echocardiograms and stuff like that. And so we were able to do that so we know exactly what we have to deal with and can proceed in the best way.
So how does that work? Do you work with specific veterinarians, and do they ever give you breaks? Because
yes, there are some really great veterinarians that do give different breaks. The one that actually worked with him, they're very rescue friendly, and they charge such reasonable amounts so that people can save their dogs, but then they give us a little bit more off of that so we can save more. And they actually took care of Bandit's siblings that got turned over months later to us that ended up with parvo. And so, you know, we deal with a lot of different costly issues with little dogs.
Sure.
Parvo is a devastating virus that
It can
spreads
kill
very
them.
quickly.
Yes, it
between
can kill them
dogs.
very quickly, and all 3 of them made it. So we're really happy that all 3 of them made it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good story, and
there's-
especially with Bandit walking around now, considering
Yeah.
he wasn't before. Do you have a large percentage of dogs that need some special needs?
We really do, because we consider ourselves kind of the rescue of last resort. A lot of other rescues will pass them up because they need their eye removed, or they've got, you know, heartworms and heart issues, or they're old. And one of the ways we get into trouble is if there's a cute little dog that we go rescue and there's 3 seniors right next to him, we can't leave the seniors behind. And they're a little bit tougher to get adopted out. So we see all sorts of things, and the seniors a lot of times have special needs. They need eye drops or heart medicine or something like that, but still can offer so much for several years, because their life expectancy is 16 years. So, you know, even a good 10 or 11-year-old has a lot of love to give, and they're our favorites. We love the seniors.
Well, and sometimes puppies, I think, prove more difficult.
Yes, actually, it's harder for me to find a foster home for puppies than seniors. Everybody will take the senior, but the puppies, they're like, oh, don't want that.
Yeah.
but luckily they adopt out fast.
Now tell us a little bit about placement and what part you play in that and how that works.
We do have a pretty rigorous process that really doesn't take very long. It looks worse than it really is, but our whole goal is just to try to find out everything we can about you and the kind of environment you're going to provide your new dog. And we just want to make sure that they get in a loving home and not ever be in the same situation that they were. And my favorite part of it is the actual trying to match up people to dogs. I kind of feel like the dating game or something like that, you know, or a Match.com, because I just really love to get to know the people and the dogs and try to recommend dogs they might not otherwise think about, because it just really is a good fit for them.
Now, how did you get involved in this?
I had lost my Lhasa Apso. I actually got into it for Lhasa Apsos, oddly enough, and I lost her, and when I was finally ready to adopt, I applied off of petfinder.com and found a group out of Houston that does Shih Tzus and Lhasa Apsos, and so went through them and actually started volunteering for them and did it for a long distance. And then at one point we just got so big that we decided to have 2 different rescues, one in Dallas and one in Houston, and so we just still work with each other quite a bit, but that's kind of how it got started.
What's the difference between a Lhasa Apso and a Shih Tzu?
Shih Tzus, you know, a lot of times you can't tell. When you get the dog, you don't know whether it's a Shih Tzu or a Lhasa Apso. A lot of times we tell by the temperament, because Shih Tzus are a little bit more, I love you and, you know, I'll do anything for you, where Lhasas have a mind of their own. I was telling somebody a little bit earlier that they remind me of cats more than any other dog I've ever met.
Really?
And that's why I love them. I love their temperament, and they're kind of fickle and stuff. So, but they're wonderful dogs too, very loyal.
And now, how do people go about volunteering? Because you said all of the people who work with you are strictly volunteers.
Yes, they are strictly volunteers. We're 100%. We don't have any paid positions in Tzu Zoo Rescue. Really, the majority of our volunteers all came about it like I did. They wanted to adopt and decided to, they liked what they saw and decided to do a little bit more. And so they take on a foster here and a foster there.
Well, your fundraising efforts for 81 dogs, I think you told me before the show, 81 dogs that are available for adoption. So if you're watching the show and you'd like to adopt a dog, we're going to put up a number in a little bit, but I have an idea. Haven't done this before, but Bandit gave me the idea. He was whispering in my ear when we were,
saw
and he would like to have us match the first $1,000 that's donated within 24 hours of this program to American Dog Rescue for you. So anything that comes in the 24 hours after this program runs, we'll match it and send you a check.
Oh, that is
How
awesome.
nice.
From
We
Bandit.
really appreciate that. Thank you, Bandit.
Bandit is very
He's-
grateful for all
he's a
that you've
very
done for
generous
him.
fella.
He's very generous.
He is
dog.
very grateful.
Thank you so
So
much.
am I. Thank you.
So yeah, we will throw, you know what, I'll go ahead and say the website. It's actually TzuZooRescue.com. That's TZUZOORESCUE.com, or you can call 972-767-3863. But in order for us to match, it's got to go through AmericanDogRescue.org.
And it doesn't have to say anything. You can just
Yeah.
general fund
Make a
donation.
donation.
Make a donation. Anything that comes into the general fund within the first 24 hours of the program, we'll double it.
Bandit will double.
Bandit will
Thank you,
double it.
Bandit.
From your own personal checking account, remember that.
Exactly. Now, where do most of your donations come from?
Our primary fundraiser is the adoption donation. And, you know, we lose money every time because really the average with the types of dogs we came in, I think the average we spent per dog last year was in the $375 to $425 range. And our adoption donations are $300 to $150. So we kind of lose, but it is one of our primary ways to do that. We have a lot of wonderful independent donors that give throughout the year. Every time I send something out, I think Bandit brought a little bit of money in too when we sent that out. And then we have a couple of big fundraisers on, we have golf tournaments, and then we also sell pumpkin beds.
What is that?
It's a pumpkin bed is like a doggy bean bag, but it's filled with fluff, and we call them doggy magnets. And so some volunteers actually make the pumpkin beds. They're made out of fleece or flannel, so they're really comfy, and the dogs can squish it all up and get it just the way they want. So that's another fundraiser that we have going all year long.
Are they orange?
They're all different colors, all different colors, but they're little gourds, so that's why they get the pumpkin name.
Got it.
So.
How cute. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. And what is your favorite part of all of this?
I think my favorite part is the matching. You know, you want to say you're in it for the dogs, but we've made so many people happy with the right placement with the right dog because people get so attached to their dog, and when they lose that dog or feel that they need to get it a little friend, just the happiness we bring that. So I really enjoy the matching part and helping people find just that right one, not just anyone, but just the right one.
Like these guys here?
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
I think
They're
Bandit's
talking
the
about
one who
you
did
again.
that one.
He made the match. I just,
Yes.
I didn't expect to have him. As you know, I was bringing him back to deliver him, and something happened that night. It was like I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, and then he's been all over the country with me. He is just unbelievable in
We
terms
call
of
that
travel.
foster failure.
Foster failure. Well, I'm finally a failure. But he failed because he's about twice
yes,
the size he was supposed to
Well,
be.
we all gain a few more pounds than we'd like to. So,
It's just now spring.
yeah.
So, any other special cases right now that you can think of besides Dexter?
The biggest special case we've got right now is a little dog named Peanut that we rescued out of the Dallas Animal Services. And Peanut has a broken femur and a broken hip, all disconnected, and so is undergoing at least one, if not several surgeries to try to get him. And he's one that you kind of want to give that extra care to because he was walking even when his femur wasn't connected to his hip bone. He was still able to walk around. So he's probably our biggest thing on our mind right now, is hoping that he recovers from the surgeries and can be fully functional.
And how much would that surgery run?
We're right now in the $1,500 to $2,000. If he needs additional surgeries just to kind of correct some things, then we probably will be closer to the $2,000 mark.
So if we could get $1,000 donated
That would pay
and
for it.
match it, we would pay for Peanut.
That would be perfect.
And I didn't even know about Peanut before
I know
we got
you
on
didn't.
here, so that's great.
Yeah, we just got him, and we're very lucky that we found an orthopedic surgeon that did it for a real reasonable cost. So really, with all they're doing, it's very
No, it's
reasonable
very reasonable.
costs.
Yeah.
It helped
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
be able
So-
to move forward with it.
So if you're watching and you go to www.americandogrescue.org in the next 24 hours, we'll double that, and hopefully we'll get to $1,000, double it, and it'll be $2,000, and little Peanut
Little
can go home.
Peanut is
Help
good to
Peanut.
go.
Well, Lynda, thank you so much
Oh,
for
well,
coming
thank you.
today and sharing the story.
Dexter didn't do much.
That's okay.
Dexter was snoring.
He was snoring. That was pretty
He's
funny.
he's such a content little boy
He is
with
very
all of his
content,
problems.
but he's also the disciplinary of my house. Even the 20 and 30-pound dogs that are in my house, he seems to tell how the rooster crowed. So,
Look at him.
What
He
a
knows.
beautiful little face. Oh.
and he's on heartworm treatment now. It's very slow, but he'll be heartworm free in the next year. So,
Right.
it'd be something we'd continue even if somebody fell in love and wanted to adopt him. We would help with
Aw.
until he's heartworm free.
Yeah, and
So,
going through that easy heartworm program, it's just, giving them
just
their
time.
medication,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's it. They're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's not as much problems as people think. Well, you can find out more about Tzu Zoo Rescue once again by logging on to TzuZooRescue.com or calling 972-767-3863. Again, thanks so much for coming out, Lynda.
Thank you so
And
much.
again,
I enjoyed this.
donate via American Dog Rescue, and we'll take care of Peanut. And everybody have a good life. And we hope that you'll come back and visit with us with some more stories in the future.
We would love to.
Dexter, have a wonderful life, boy.
So stay tuned. For the Love of Dogs, we'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to For the Love of Dogs. I'm Bandit, and this is Arthur E. Benjamin. Well, I think I got that backwards.
You did. You did get that backwards, but you're both cute.
Thank you.
Well, how about that Peanut? So
Oh.
he's going to have his little surgery, and you were so lucky with Bandit that there was actually nothing more
Yeah.
than muscular
It's amazing.
issues.
It's truly amazing that when I got Bandit, we thought it was going to be a very, very substantial in cost and time and effort and rehabilitation effort. He was called Scooter, actually, before he was Tiny Tim, because he dragged his butt for the first 6 weeks of his life. He never stood up.
He really did.
He couldn't use his rear end. And so, yeah, but Peanut is going to have a big surgery, femur, and he's going to have all of that corrected, and hopefully we're going to raise in the next 24 hours $1,000 that we can match and pay for Peanut's surgery.
That would be great. That would be really great. And it's amazing that he was walking around with that injury.
Yeah,
You know,
dogs
she said-
tolerate pain at an incredible level.
They really do, don't they? It's kind
Yeah.
of amazing, and they're such loyal animals. You know?
Well, I started doing all of this because when I was a little kid, somebody said to me, not a religious thing here, but somebody said that dog is God spelled backwards. And it hit me that truly dogs have unconditional love for human beings, and they abandon their own kind to be with a human, and they choose the human.
Yeah, and you do so much. You really do. I mean, you invest so much of your time, and clearly animaldogrescue.org is such a great organization. And like we mentioned earlier on the first half of the program, if you go to americandogrescue.org and make a donation in the next 24 hours, Arthur and Bandit will match it and help pay for Peanut's surgery, which is going to be fairly costly. So we would love to do that. Anything you can do to help would be amazing.
Well, we're talking about the unconditional love of dogs for humans. To see the soldiers, there's one behind you with a dog, and to see those dogs come back after a year in Afghanistan without their soldiers, and to have the kennels open and have these dogs go right to the person they had chosen in Afghanistan. And in fact, we're right in the middle of Charlie. Charlie comes from Charlie Company, and it was a mom who had I think it was 6 pups, and there's Charlie and Echo and Delta, and Echo and Delta just came over, and they're in the Pause for Prisons program being trained right now.
Really?
And Charlie got away, and there was an incident. We found him 8 miles from this house in Iowa in a barn, and they didn't know what was wrong, but they discovered that somebody must have dumped him out of a car, and he tore both of his back ACLs. So he is in a veterinary right now, driven from Iowa to Palm Beach. He's in a Pause to Help program where they've surgically rehabilitated one of his knees. He's there, he's being rehabbed, and then they're going to do the other knee. Because he's only a year old, he's got, 10 years of life left, and
Sure.
he's just like that dog in the picture, an amazing animal. So we're in the midst of that project right now.
Well, he's got a lot to give left, and which brings us to another subject that really just, makes you wonder what people are thinking, and that's animal cruelty.
Well, as of the time of us taping today, there's this horrible situation that occurred here in Dallas where Justice, dog named that after the fact, was doused with lighter fluid. And this 18-year-old, they've identified the person, this 18-year-old young man, and I say that, with difficulty, because how can you be a human and do this? Threw a cigarette on the dog. The dog was burned over, I believe 70% of its body with third-degree burns, and it was cared for, unfortunately passed. And SPCA has a $25,000 reward out for the conviction of this person. And if you know anything about it, I'd encourage you to get in touch and help find that person, because it's true, it happens everywhere, and it's the aberrant behaviors towards animals become part of the behavior towards our kids. And so where there's animal abuse, there's usually proven child abuse.
Sure.
And Bandit is named after a dog in Salt Lake City that was shot on the front porch of his home. He was just out in the sun on the front porch of their home, and somebody drove by and shot him, and we put out a $5,000 reward in that one, and they never caught the person. But we named Bandit after him so he wouldn't be forgotten.
That's horrible. I didn't know how Bandit got his name.
So if you know anything about justice, you know anything about how it happened, or you know this person they're looking for, if you'll call Crime Stoppers at 214-373-8477. That's 214-373-8477. Making an example of a person who does this is the only way to stop other people from doing it. And again, it's the same kind of behavior that leads to child abuse. And we can stop it at an animal level.
Sure, and you hear about that, and you read about that, about people who are later involved in heinous crimes against other human beings. You'll often read history that showed animal abuse, like as a child, that they're doing things. So clearly, there's something wrong with those people.
I mean, that's what took us into the seal hunt program, too. It's just that aberrant behavior that is just not humane. I mean, yes, sometimes dogs get so sick and they need to be helped, and that's why euthanasia was originally invented. It wasn't invented to just put down every puppy that we allowed to be born because we're stupid.
Yeah, right. Well, it would just be nice if we could give back a little bit, since dogs give us so much.
You hear about the acts. There's American Humane Association has a annual event now where they give awards to the animal hero who steps out and does something for the person. Humane Society of the United States has a similar kind of program, and these dogs do amazing things. They wake up in the middle of the night and smell smoke and wake up everybody in the house and take them out. A child has a seizure for the first time, and the dog goes and finds help. In the film The Artist, the dog runs down the street for the fire and finds the policeman and brings him back. It's funny. And Uggy sat next to me at the Genesis Awards in L.A.
Yeah.
I know you couldn't make it,
No.
but he sat right at the next table.
He took my spot.
Well, he was,
It's okay.
he was quite the, he got more attention on the red carpet than you ever get.
I'm sure.
You'd be jealous.
Well, no. He can have it. He deserves it.
Well, he's a cutie, and but there is instantaneous. He got more attention on the red carpet because that's how we as a society feel about our dogs, and yeah, about you too. And then there's this situation with justice. So again, I'm going to encourage everybody, if you know anything, if you have any information, if you can help in the apprehension of this young man, it's 214-373-8477. Call Crime Stoppers.
Well, and let's go over the facts again. So we know it's an 18-year-old man?
That's what they say.
Okay.
I mean, a 18-year-old man who either he or some people doused it with lighter fluid. He's the one that threw the cigarette. And in this case, they know who. In a drive-by shooting like with the original Bandit, they have no idea who. So where we know who, we have to do something about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, we would like to call for you to do that, if you could.
And this is not limited to just dogs. This is horses. This is penguins. This is, if you have a pet and it's abused, you deserve to be found responsible.
Absolutely, you do. And you deserve to be punished, I think. I'll say it. Yeah, that's just horrible. I think anytime you have crimes against animals or even children, things that can't speak for themselves,
Well,
get me going.
We've been very lucky to have Tzu Zoo Rescue on today.
Yes.
And
One
to
of us
hear
great.
about Peanut's need.
Yes.
And to have Bandit's, he wants to wave, I think.
He does.
Bandit's story finally told. And I really appreciate the support that you give me as
my gosh.
co-host on this program.
Are you kidding? You do
Bandit
so
does.
much, Arthur. I got to tell you, it is my honor to
And,
sit here next to you.
People can find out and donate to Peanut, find out about American Dog Rescue at www.americandogrescue.org.
Absolutely. And as always, be sure to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube.
And you can see the prior programs that we've done on www.americandogrescue.org too. You can email them to friends. You can share them.
Yep. And so you can see what we've done, and you can also find out what we're going to do on upcoming shows. So it's a nice way to stay in touch.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We had a really great time today, and we're looking forward to having you back next Saturday. So from Bandit and Farah and I, have a great week, and we'll see you next week.